On today's show, week one preview, boys. We've got a few other segments, but we really don't need to say more, do we? Because it's the week one preview. The NFL is back. It starts tomorrow. Oh, DOS. Have you taken that off too, Friday?
I haven't actually.
No? That's not good enough.
But I'm so looking forward to it.
Oh, me too. Real stuff. No more preseason, no more conjecture, just the real thing. We've also got September Gutsy Calls. That's back for another year. We got Wilson Watch. That is the most hyped segment in Australia at the moment. And of course, the Raz for the mystery box goes live tonight. Details in about 30 seconds. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first preview show of the Outback Quarterback for season 2024. I am your QB3, Curtis DeBoy. With me, QB2, Chris Hall. QB1, Matt Maven. I've got to figure out a way to change that up. I don't think about it until we do the intro, Hawley. Are you upset that you're QB2 all this time? Or are you
No,
good?
not really.
Should we just scrap that? Or
We don't need it anymore.
Dos, do you want to scrap it, or are you happy with being labelled the best of us every week?
I remember, was it the pilot episode where you thought this would be a tracked thing going on? For
I did track it for a while.
A number of starts over X amount of years
Yeah.
as QB 1, 2, and 3.
Stats. I'll get Kathy to whip up a spreadsheet. Well, she helps. She helps.
Yeah.
So, local-owned family business these days,
Yeah.
Dos.
Sole trader.
No. Company.
Don't sue us.
Company.
Yes. And all the ATO implications that go along with that. Now, boys, we got our mystery box tonight. Goes live tonight, right? 25 spots at $25. I'm sorry to say, you guys can't enter, okay? Because it's not a mystery to you.
Your burner accounts.
Random money has entered the account from
Hawley buys 10 spots.
Who's Chris Hill?
Chris Hill, Hall Star 10,
Yeah, oh, yes.
Roller 12.
Hall Chris at... No, I won't give his email. If you do want to send some abuse to Chris, though, podcast at outbackqb.com. I'll be sure to forward it on. So if you want to win a signed, authentic, DOS, jersey of a superstar, a current superstar in the NFL, do we want to give a hint? We sort of teased a hint on Tuesday. Should we give a hint or not? We'd just leave it as superstar. And you give me confidence.
All-pro?
what side of the ball he plays?
All-pro.
Do we give away?
Offense.
Offense?
That's got him.
Oh, yeah,
That's
it's
the
offense.
hint. Offense, multiple time All-Pro, superstar of the game. Signed, legitimate, $25 for your chance to win. Make sure you keep an eye out on our Insta tonight because that will launch and DOS will receive your DMs while I am feet up on the couch.
Yeah.
Now,
On his little couch in here with the ottoman, Hawley.
that's right. Just
Watching NFL Network,
As
getting ready
as
for
Kathy
Ravens
puts the
Chiefs.
kids, Kathy puts the kids to sleep doing her Excel spreadsheet. Kurt's
Yeah,
just
for QB, logging back
Kurt's-
through 200 episodes for
Kurt's
QB
feet up.
stats.
Door locked so no one can intrude.
as my phone buzzes with notifications of the cash rolling into the business account, just absolutely flying. Now, boys, we actually have a big announcement. Now, I've sort of told you about this, but not really. I've kept it a little bit secret from you. We are holding 2 live events this season. 2 live events, and that is thanks, lads, to our new home in South Australia, our home base in South Australia. That's the Suburban Brew, the tap room and brewery in Glynde. They got one in Glynde, they got one in Goodwood. So in Glynde, which is a great place, DOS, been out there, great people. Tony, what a man. One of the best,
And
DOS.
is the pinball machines there or at Goodwood?
I think that's Goodwood.
They got the big pinball machine set up, which I'm keen to get out to.
I think that's Goodwood. I have to double check it, but
Okay.
I'm keen to have a go on those as well. But the Super Bowl party, they had one last year at Glynde, and we are going to host one Super Bowl day.
Oh,
Nice.
Live event, live podcast.
let's hope the Chiefs aren't in it.
Oh,
But if
how
Green
good
Bay
would
are in it, I'm
If
not
the
there.
Chiefs are in
You
it-
won't see me.
Chiefs are in it, I'm getting drunk. I'm not putting
Well,
up with it for a third year
and
straight
what a-
sober.
And what a place to do it, Hawley.
Exactly
With
right,
their
Kurt.
craft beers and their lagers, and we'll be pumping up a little bit of their sublime product later in the year, especially January 1, once my self-imposed drinking ban lifts.
Drinking ban.
Well, just being a disciplined man.
Yeah, you are.
But look, it's a great place, our new home in South Australia. We are pumped because, it's exciting to us. Like we've flirted with the idea of live events in the past, and now we have a place to do it. It's an awesome venue. They already love the NFL. They show it on a massive screen, and we're going to get all of our listeners there on Super Bowl day. Plus, there's another event that we'll tell you about later in the year as
Are
well.
you flying them all in from all over Australia? Yeah. What about our US,
the
and
world,
New Zealand,
yeah.
all our New Zealand listeners?
It's a
You
very
bring them across
lucrative
the Tasman?
partnership. But check them out on socials, Suburban Brew, The Suburban Brew. You're going to be hearing more about them as the year goes on because, hey, they're one of us now. They're on board the Muscle Cat Media mothership, and we're happy to have them. So keep your eyes out for those live events coming up. All right, boys, we got week one. Week one starts tomorrow. And what a way to start an absolutely massive game, which we'll get to. But in about 3 seconds, we're going to talk about one game each that we're pumped about. All right. So, listeners that are new to the show, you may not know that we cover every single game on this podcast. Just three lads in a room, but we work our butts off for you guys. And in return, we get given your love, your loyalty, your listenership.
And no money, Dos.
Are you're still rolling with that?
I mean, it's got to give me some time, Dos. I'm working hard over here. I'm trying to make this work.
The Muscle Cat Media empire, you haven't seen it appear in your credit?
No, not just yet. I'm more worried about the physio bills from these. From
the chairs and the driveway.
The chair and the driveway.
Compo claims.
Off air, you just said how good this new chair is. You got a cushion on it.
There is a cushion. It's quite comfortable as well.
You want a cushion on the back as well?
Oh, that would be real nice.
Back cushion.
I would like
A massage
back
even
cushion.
at some
Give
stage.
us 3 years for the business plan to really take hold.
We'll get that back cushion. What a massage chairs, lazy boys.
When are you going to put the shelves up so we can put the helmets on?
I'm awaiting delivery, Dos.
Okay.
They are in transit. A very confusing
So I
Star
need
Trek
to-
tracking system. I have no idea where they are in the world, but apparently they are on their way.
Throwing a bit of shade on Star Trek and Australia Post.
Yeah. Get on board Star Trek and I'll stop shading.
Which helmets have you got to put up?
I was hoping to use some of yours. To be honest,
They're going to be behind Hawley, so...
Yeah, good point. Nah, it's okay,
for
mate.
an extortionate rental racket.
I'll lease them to you.
Now, what I was saying is we cover every single game on the show, and between the three of us, myself, Kurt, Dos, and Hawley, we split them up evenly, or as evenly as we can.
Let's have a look at the first week to see how even this is.
Well, 5 games each for you guys and 6 for me.
Yeah.
Well, I've given myself the extra bit of work. Dos, is that all right?
I'm more having a look at the quality of games that you've allocated to yourself first.
Well, we'll talk quality games now because in this little segment, we're going to talk about a game that we can't wait to see, the number one. And then later on in the show, we're going to go through every single game very, very quickly, a couple of things we're excited about. So, Dos, you're nodding in approval. You like the quality of your games.
I don't mind my
Yeah.
5 games that you've thrown my way
I look
this
after
week.
you, man. I look after you. Kick us off. What's the game that you just can't wait for in week one?
Well, it's Eagles-Packers in Brazil, Saturday morning. Brazil and North.
You do scream Carnival to me,
Yeah,
Dos.
that's right. I'll be there. Carnival.
Dos will be at home having a little dance while he's watching the
Oh,
game.
a little shimmy. I'll go train in the morning, and then
Yes, always.
I'll go and get my my large coffee, and then I'll come home and make sure that I'm set up ready for Eagles Packers.
Large coffee, Dos. I didn't know you were on the Muscle Cat Media payroll already.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So large.
I'll
Large,
have to fix you up too, Hawley.
large cap, extra hot.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, he's that guy.
You have to go extra hot, so then for the drive home, it stays nice and hot. So it's at a really good temp for when you get home.
How long's the drive home?
Oh, about 10 minutes.
It-
That's solid enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as far as he drives, other than going to Muscle Cat Studios.
That's right.
It's a big trek out here. Uphill too.
Sorry, mate. Just build a studio for you. That's right. Sorry, mate.
It's comfortable. Just let me know when you got the chair ready.
Carnival, you were saying. Carnival.
Neutral venue. So this is the one thing
Skipped
that
out on
we
the chairs, didn't
always
he?
know. Yeah, that's right. We always know week one always throws up a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
And this game here is even more random. Good luck trying to pick a winner at a neutral venue. But the Eagles with a lot of personnel changes. Sirianni will be less involved on the offense. Kurt, I know you'll be excited about that, taking just more of an overseeing consultancy head coaching role on the sideline.
I would like you to introduce him as potential idiot of the year, Nick Sirianni, after our predictions show on
Can't
Tuesday.
believe that's who you've gone with.
Yeah, well, the relationship between he and Jalen Hurts, a little strained to
Yes.
put it nicely. But new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator as well. They finished last season awfully, and then they limped into the playoffs and then got stomped by the Buccaneers defense, really, who their defense wasn't great last year, but then held the Eagles to 9 points in the wild card game. So are we going to see the Eagles from 2022 and early 23 to kick off the season, or are we going to see the Eagles that finished last season? They look a lot different in camp and with personnel. Saquon Barkley, Hawley's boy, a lot more pre-snap motion. I think they'll be a lot more dynamic, but I'm excited about my Packers though.
Yeah. You think they'll win?
Really, I'm going to go the house on Green Bay.
Okay.
It's going to be a tough pill to swallow if Green Bay don't have the year that you're expecting.
Yeah. Well, they didn't start well last season, to be fair. They played the Bears week 1, and that was a nice little.
I think I remember him writing off
little-
Jordan
He did.
Love
Oh,
for
yeah.
about 3 weeks in a row.
No, I didn't wrote him off, but I was down on Love in the offense.
You're a little more excited than I thought you'd be.
I like
You're
this,
usually
though.
No, I
pretty,
am.
You're usually pretty level-headed about these things, but you're pumped, aren't you, Dos?
Can I read a quote from new defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley?
Absolutely.
Out for you?
Jeff Hafley. You love Jeff Hafley.
My sheet's going to be in front of me, and I'm going to let it rip. We're going to play fast, going to play physical, and no hesitation on the play call.
Oh.
That's what I want to hear on defense.
Yeah, because that's what you want. You want a defensive coordinator who is pumping himself up in the preseason. That's not possibly setting them up for failure.
No, we're right.
Talk more, Jeff. I want to hear more quotes from Jeff
You
Hafley
should be excited. No, we've
before
got
any snaps are played.
a lot of talent. We've added some pieces as well.
know what? Hold on,
again.
fellas.
We again.
We.
I keep saying we.
Hold on, I'm
shouldn't
just
say
logging
we.
on to Sportsbet to put my mortgage on them now that Jeff's quoted that.
Get on there,
Jeff
Ollie.
Hafley, idiot of the year.
No.
Yep, done. Log it in.
Boston College proud. No, it'll be good. But we've spoken about the offensive weapons that Green Bay have. Young offense, a lot of talent on defense, some experienced players on defense as well. I love the Xavier McKinney addition at safety. Your number one safety, Kurt, by the way.
I think he'll have a great.
And the fact that Hawley's on Green Bay this year, though, has got me nervous because his Hawley
omen.
prediction. He didn't throw him in Hawley's heroes, which I'm happy about. But I'm going to go Green Bay, but it's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be a really good game.
All right, Hawley. Out of your game allocations, what's the one you're pumped about?
Falcons, Steelers, fellas. Come on.
We got to see those
Okay.
Falcons. And you know what? This is an early window, 2:30 a.m.
This is a nice
sugar. I'm
early
going to
one.
have to get up on this is my game of the week, and it's like you've got Russell, GP, the Falcons, you got Kirk, BR, Drake, Pitts.
You got the Arthur Smith revenge game.
do you want me to do it, or do
go
you
on.
want to do the...
Keep going.
And you got Raheem Morris in his first game as coach, but most importantly, the Arthur Smith revenge game. Thank you, Dos.
Was that in your notes?
Yeah, it was right here.
Oh, Dos.
But most
I cut him
importantly,
off.
the
That was
Arthur
my
Smith
fault.
revenge game. It's week 1, okay? So we don't need to stress too much about the outcome of this one from a team perspective. But
I don't know, mate. With how much you've talked them up, I think you do.
But Russell needs the win probably more than anyone else on either of these rosters, coaches included.
Yeah.
He's been in the media a lot the last couple of years for so-called poor performances and just weird things on planes and contracts and whatever else. So the best possible outcome for him to silence those critics is just to win week 1 and play well. And then that'll take some of the pressure off. They'll say, all right, Russell's our starter. Justin Fields is not the starter. There's no competition. Russell's playing well. We're winning. Let's roll with it and keep it. And that you can take the pressure off of him a little bit.
What I can't believe is that the NFL has scheduled Chris Hall's Super Bowl in week 1. The Falcons
I
versus
don't
George
understand.
Pickens.
I've been emailing them back and forth, and I requested this for week 1, and I didn't realize it was an early slate game.
Dos, who's your boy, the director of
Is it
fixturing?
Mike North of,
Mike North!
of scheduling?
Yeah, your boy.
I think-
Has he accepted your request on LinkedIn yet? Or?
No, he hasn't. I might have to log in under the Muscle Cat Media
Oh yes,
LinkedIn
much
account.
more clout. Much more clout. Sorry, any more there, Hall?
Yeah, or the other side of the ball, obviously the Falcons. They've invested a lot in this offense over the last couple of years, but so far they haven't really seen. They haven't had the positive return that they were hoping for. Kirk, do we blame Arthur Smith for that? Maybe, but Kirk is probably that final piece of the puzzle, and they really need to see it work now. So, like I said, it's week 1. It's Raheem's first official game in charge. I think it makes for a pretty exciting game. The outcome in terms of the whole season is probably not as important. It's probably more for some individual players and coaches that this is a quite important game.
I noticed, Hawley, you've thrown the. You reckon if Russell gets it done week 1, that his job will be.
I think if he plays well and gets it done, if he comes out with 180 yards, a TD and a pick, but they win, then the jury's still out. But if he plays well, then I think
He's got the Broncos in week 2.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, Steelers Broncos week 2.
I'm giving myself that game.
Nah, give
That's
Hawley
box
that.
office.
That's a Hawley.
Yeah,
game.
it's
Box office.
All right, I, boys, have got the Monday Night Football opener. New York Jets at San Francisco. I couldn't go past it.
Nice game.
We've talked about how excited we are about the Aaron Rodgers thing. Part 2. It's Aaron Rodgers part 2. And somehow there's more anticipation than there was last time. It can't be as bad,
What
surely,
if he
boys.
gets injured?
Oh.
Touch wood. Is it?
Nick Bosa will come through and steamroll him.
Oh, my gosh.
First drive of the game.
I mean, look,
Collarbone gone. Snapped.
We don't wish injury upon anyone.
No, of course
Because if he goes down, then
That's a
the Jets-
disaster.
then it's just the And the Jets are in so many primetime games, and I can't handle backup quarterbacks playing primetime games.
Well, we just want to see what we'd all thought. What if we plug Aaron Rodgers into another team? And what if the Jets finally get their quarterback? And this could be it. So does the offense actually catch up to the defense? Does Breece Hall, who has such superstar potential, probably already is a superstar, same with Garrett Wilson, do they finally get good quarterback play and we can see them unlocked? I mean, what a treat that would be to see it. Mike Williams coming back from the ACL, injury-prone career, but he's a special dude when he gets going.
Oh, big-time player. Big-time catches.
One
Made a
of
big
your
difference to the
favourites,
Chargers.
Dos.
Oh,
I'd say.
I love Mike Williams.
But the thing is, they haven't got a lot of depth outside of that. They've still got Alan Lazard, they got Xavier Gibson, they got rookie Malachi Corley, who's had some
Alan
good
Lazard's
rumblings,
still on
but
the roster.
He's still there, yeah. Randall Cobb's not. They finally.
It is
flicked him.
worrying if a Garrett was to go down and say Mike Williams is still kind of 50-50 coming off an ACL, then they are real thin wide receiver wise, and they'll rely on Breece quite heavily. But I think they need a healthy list this year to be successful.
And they've got that new O-line, so we'll see how that gels with those veterans. The defense as well, they traded out Bryce Huff, young stud on defense, and they brought in Reddick, which we loved at the time, but now there's that contract drama. He's still holding out. There's no resolution to that. He said he wants to go now. He wants to get traded, and that was a week and a half ago, and what the heck's happening there? So that's
But we love Sauce Gardner.
potentially disastrous.
We love
Have there
DJ
been
Reed.
any offensive or defensive coordinator quotes to really pump the Jets up? Or
No.
Surely Robert Sala's got something for you.
I think Robert is someone who would do well just to zip his lips this year and try and get some results.
Last chance saloon for Robert Sala and
Last
GM
chance saloon.
Joe Douglas.
100%. As for the Niners, it has not been a smooth offseason, boys. We know the injury to CMC, so we hope he's 100%. The Brandon Ayuk thing was a saga. Elijah Mitchell was out for the year. We know Ricky Pearsall, not only did he have the shoulder injury, but then he got shot. We don't know where he's at with his recovery. Trent Williams holding out. That's a problem. Brock Purdy apparently threw a pick in training camp once. So that's a disaster.
Yeah.
And have you heard, boys, he's only a system QB. According to everyone on Instagram, he's a system QB, so they should be worried about that.
One who throws a lot of picks.
Well,
or at least one.
Anybody who doubts Brock Purdy, he was the first ever Outback quarterback MVP, and nobody can take that away from him, no matter how mean they are online.
I doubted him because I wanted Trey Lance to have the job.
Yeah, you did.
To get the job.
And then you just couldn't ignore it.
No, you can't. Yeah.
But look, we know Kyle Shanahan can coordinate an offense. We know that, even when things aren't ideal. So I think they'll still be good this year. The question is, will they be great? Will they be as good as they were? I actually think I'm tipping an upset Jets 2016 here. I think they can just snag one with a bit of opening night momentum for them. Surely they won last year against the Bills, even though Rodgers snapped his Achilles. They somehow won that with that Xavier Gibson walk-off return touchdown.
The Jordan Whitehead 3 interceptions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, earned him 29 votes in the MVP award or whatever it was. The Stubby Club MVP. There you go. So yeah, that's the one I'm looking forward to. I just think Niners versus Jets, man. What a way to start the season.
There's so many cool games actually this week.
Oh, it's good. They've done really well.
Week one's always good, but man, there's some really cool games.
I've got some pretty average ones.
We'll get to them later. We got Gutsy Calls coming up, boys. Nothing average about that. What's that? DOS Chargers Raiders.
Yeah.
Yuck.
That's
Did
probably
you
not
get
a
that,
bad.
Paulie?
No, that's probably not a bad time to get that.
Lions, Rams, Seahawks, Broncos.
Lions, Rams. That's
not too
That's
bad.
good.
Seahawks, Broncos.
That's all right. There's intrigue around Bo Nix.
Chargers, Raiders, Bucks, Commanders. They're okay.
They're okay. Well,
I'm
I'm
not
on
too fussy.
timelines for you. I don't want to give you too many 230s.
Would you prefer Giants, Vikings?
I'm
trading?
not too fussy.
Are you trading?
No, you got that.
Oh, did I? Okay, I'll get to that later. I said Gutsy Calls. I've actually got Wilson Watch on the run sheet.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to do Wilson Watch?
Sure.
Let's do Wilson Watch. We'll hold Gutsy Calls till next.
All right.
I don't have a stinger for Wilson Watch.
No, we
do I?
need an
Yeah,
intro
we do
for
need a
Wilson
stinger.
Watch. Did you put the
It's growing.
Hawley's Heroes one for the last time he
No.
read it out? No, I noticed you, and you hadn't updated it. It needs to be updated.
Yeah, but I like that the longer it
The
goes, the
original
more
one.
preposterous they
Yeah.
sound. Because he's still talking. He'll be talking up guys that aren't on rosters in a year or
And
so.
people thinking I'm an idiot. Like, no, mate, this is from 17 years ago.
Idiot of the year, Chris Hill.
Justin Fields be leading the MVP after
That's
the
right.
first
That's
one. And
right.
he's like, not
No,
even
they won week one, and it looked like it might have been.
beat the 49ers in the
Yeah.
rain.
It also says that
Chicago go 4-0.
yeah, Chicago 4-0, and that Dallas will ball out and Dak will go bang. And I can't wait till next year when Dak isn't on Dallas's roster. He's playing
I was
elsewhere.
a year early with that one.
You were. All right. What have you got? Wilson Watch.
Wilson Watch. We're going to leave the big fella to last, Russell.
Yep.
Let's start off with some wide receivers.
Okay.
So we've got
Cedric.
we have 3 wide receivers.
Yes.
Garrett, Michael, and Roman. So Garrett is relying on Aaron Rodgers. Okay, we all understand that. I've talked him up to be a top 3 wide receiver. If Aaron's fit and plays well, then I think Garrett can become a top 3 wide receiver. Leave it at that. Michael Wilson and Roman Wilson. They probably sit in a similar boat. They're both depth chart wise. They're both sitting at wide receiver 2, but they both have Michael's situation, Trey McBride is probably that other target to go with Marvin. So that sends him back to like a wide receiver 3.
So Michael year 2 at Arizona, Roman year 1 at Pittsburgh.
Correct. Yeah. So Michael, wide receiver 2, but there's Trey that's sitting in front of him and obviously Marvin Harrison. So he's probably more that third string target. So if either Trey or Marvin Harrison go down, then Michael probably steps up and he becomes, a focal point of that offense. And if Kyler's back from injury, if he has a good year, then we should see some good numbers from these guys. So Roman down at Pittsburgh, he's also wide receiver 2 at the moment. George Pickens is the number 1 guy there. But they've got Pat Frymouth. So naturally, we should see a little bit more of an improvement from him this year. Usually takes tight ends a little bit longer. So I think he's a similar spot. Roman sits in that third kind of receiving spot.
See, Pat's interesting because he's had those injuries on and off too. And he was a guy that early we thought, we almost, not quite, but we almost thought Laporta levels. He's maybe half a step down from Laporta.
But he just hasn't got there yet, has he?
He hasn't.
We're hoping that this year is the year that he can probably push and become a top 10 tight end in the league.
See, I'm starting to wonder whether he's got like a Dallas Goddard type ceiling.
Yeah.
Like he can be a very good guy, but never an elite guy. But you're right. This year will be instructive.
This year was the one we probably find out. So anyway, we've got Garrett, could be a top 3 wide receiver. Michael and Roman in the top 3, in Arizona and Pittsburgh, and are set for some pretty good years, hopefully. We'll go to a running back down in Green Bay, Dos, and that's Emmanuel Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
I did not expect Emmanuel to be in Wilson
No,
Watch.
he's only in Wilson Watch because AJ Dillon has gone down and he's listed as RB2 at the moment. So you'd imagine he does get a few snaps each week. Josh Jacobs goes down. Emmanuel probably steps up.
Don't say that.
And could be the number 1 guy in Green Bay, which is a little worrying because he's an undrafted player. He's second year now. He only had a handful of carries last year. Didn't show a lot with them. It was tough to do so.
Well, Dos, sorry, what's the Marshawn Lloyd pop? Like what's...
Well, he's done the hamstring.
No, I know,
again.
but as a player, have you seen much about him? Did he get some preseason snaps before he did the hamstring?
Yeah, he was looking all right.
Yeah, because I thought I did see flashes of him,
no,
right?
he was looking good first preseason game, and then the report came out that, hamstring after that. And now,
How bad?
Oh, I'm not exactly sure, Curtis. I don't think he is listed for this week. I can have a look for you, but I don't think he's playing this week.
So E-Man Wilson has a few weeks to make an impact.
I like it. E-Man. If he wants to stay in Wilson Watch, then he probably has to make an impact pretty early on because...
That's a red rag to a ball.
Yeah,
we'll see him perform now.
If he's RB3, he's not in Wilson Watch.
I like it. I'm going to make note of that.
It's probably similar with the next guy I've got coming up named Zach Wilson. He is cute.
I'm amazed he gets a run in
So
Wilson Watch.
I'm just mentioning...
He's third in line, isn't he?
I'm just mentioning his name because he was a big part of Wilson Watch last year.
Well, that's true.
I'm just letting everybody know that he probably won't be a big part of Wilson Watch this year in case something extravagant comes from Denver and a few injuries.
May need to have a wake for his departure from Wilson Watch.
We could have a little ceremony.
All right, let's put a little asterisk on that because if Zach Wilson gets nowhere near a start this year by about halfway, we may need to formally
Say
farewell
goodbye.
him from Wilson Watch.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, what else you got?
I've got a linebacker at Cincinnati, Dos.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Peyton Wilson there.
I wasn't saying Peyton Wilson.
Logan.
Sorry. I've gone with Logan Wilson. He led Cincinnati in tackles last year. Had 2 forced fumbles and 4 picks. So
He's
he had
very good linebacker.
He had a pretty solid year. And we probably ignored him last year and we shouldn't have because Wilson Watch is a very offensive kind of segment.
I own an NFT of Logan Wilson if any of you guys would like to buy it for $3.
Your non-fungible tokens.
Well, it's probably just gone up in value after he's been added to
$4.
a Wilson Watch. But we'll track Logan as the year goes and see if he keeps his way or keeps his spot in the Wilson Watch lineup.
I like it.
The last Wilson Watch is a guy that I'm big on this year. And his name's Russell Wilson, fellas. I'll reel off some names for you, okay? Goff, Love, Mayfield, Herbert, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Hurts, Lawrence. So what do all of these players have in common? Their passer rating last year was below Russell Wilson's.
Russell was so bad last year, though.
Well, not according to this.
He didn't
Not
play
according to
well.
his passer rating, Dossie.
You
Wasn't.
got to watch this dude.
All I can do is look at the stats.
Oh, and watch the games.
I can watch the
You gotta
games,
watch
but
the game.
The Matthew Maidman eye test, man.
according to Matthew Maven eye test, he's no good. Wilson sat.
agreed.
Wilson sat.
There we go.
Wilson sat 8th in the league. Okay.
Yeah.
And Jake Browning sat 7th. So that's how well Jake Browning actually played.
But he was actually good.
He was nice. Yeah. So Russell was right next to him. His weapons are maybe an upgrade this year. I think George is probably better than anyone in Pittsburgh, in Denver.
Yes, agreed.
Cortland had a good year. I think Paddy Frymouth is probably okay.
Better than Troutman. Dulcich was injured.
Haven't seen Roman Wilson yet. Running back wise, Najee, Jalen Warren, I think they're better. So I think he has got a little bit of an upgrade there. Okay. I like Mike Tomlin as a coach as well. And I think the defense, obviously he's the number one coach in the league. And I think the Pittsburgh defense are going to help Russell as well by giving them some good field position and little bits and pieces like that. So I think Russell, like, I'll happily admit defeat if come week 5 and he's no good. I'll back off of him. But at the moment, I'm liking Russell Wilson to have a successful year.
Okay. You know what I like about Wilson Watch, Doss? Is that Hawley, he takes this with pride.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he really puts his name to it, like he does with all of his segments, but this one's a little more research heavy, isn't it? Have you noticed that? There's a bit more research.
I like how he put Logan Wilson in.
Mate, that has earned you kudos.
I mean, he's thrown in some defense, which I wasn't expecting.
Gone
real deep with Emmanuel
All
Wilson.
I did was go to Sleeper and go play a search and type in Wilson.
And start somewhere.
And anyone that looks like they'll be starting this week.
Yeah, but then you spoke a bit about him, which was the impressive bit.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I'm not mocking you, Hawley. I genuinely like Wilson Watch. We'll loop back at about week 4.
Yeah, give it a month or so.
Yeah, so as we do with all these things.
For your Emmanuel Wilson call, Hawley, like with Marshawn Lloyd. So he's not on IR, so he's not going to miss the first 4 weeks, which is, but word is just having a bit of a look.
Week 2 or 3?
Yeah, be eased back in. So Emmanuel Wilson could be getting some work behind Josh Jacobs.
Okay. We'll see how he goes the first week or 2.
Yeah.
All right. Wilson Watch. Wilson Watch is back for another year. How good.
We're excited about it.
It's juicier than ever. We'll be back in a sec. All right, lads, this is Gutsy Calls. This is I think it's my favourite segment.
It is fun.
I love Gutsy Calls. For those unfamiliar, it's not that hard to work out. We put our what's on the line.
And what's our hit rate?
Our ideal hit rate, because we normally do 2 each per month, so 6 total. Our ideal hit rate, if we've got it correct, is we get 1 right and 5 wrong. Because that shows we do know what we're talking about and we can occasionally hit, but they're hard enough and we've gone courageous enough that we're not hitting it out the park.
But they're effectively, if you're a punter, Dos, they're 100 to 1 shots.
Yeah, I would say they fluctuate between 50 to 100, sometimes 1,000 to 1. So we might have a few of them.
Sometimes a bit more.
Now we do it month by month, lads. We do it month by month, and this year we've also added another element on top. Back in July, which was very, very early, we did an overall whole year Gutsy Calls prediction. We did 3 each, and that was an off-season mini pod that we did. So we might have recorded that early July, I reckon, and dropped it late July. So I'm very quickly going to recap those just for context.
No.
And I looked through mine and thought,
here comes the mayor of the South with Chris Hall. He's going to come out.
I did say something about Carolina.
Well, I'll get there in a sec, but I just want to segue to one of mine because of your Russell Wilson stuff.
Sure.
Because we've been debating this all summer, or American summer. I said my first one, Justin Fields will be starting by week 4 and will end the season as a top 10 QB.
Oh.
Now, I'm a little less confident than I was on that, so we'll see how that goes. Dos, your first one was that Ladd McConkey would get 1,200 plus receiving yards for the year.
Yep.
I don't mind that.
Yep. Hawley, Bijan Robinson, 2,300 scrimmage yards.
Oh, wow.
And 20 scrimmage TDs.
Wow. That's
big.
That's a big year.
2,300.
Oh, it's a gutsy call, isn't it?
It's a very gutsy call.
That's what we're about.
As we said at the time, it's not called sensible decisions. It's called gutsy calls. My second one was that Greg Olsen would tear up his commentary contract with Fox because he's annoyed about Tom Brady and join a number 1 team elsewhere. And I thought potentially maybe Kirk Herbstreit would get kicked to the curb at Prime. Dos, your second one was that Washington is a 3-pronger, which I love a 3-pronger. Washington, a winning record. Terry McLaurin would have 1,200 plus yards.
Terry, he just always winds up in an episode, doesn't he?
and Jaden Daniels, 3,500 plus pass yards. Now the other thing
looking better now.
Yeah, it is. That's actually looking okay, and I'm more bullish on Washington now too than I was, Dos. So you're shaping.
I'm not sure if Jaden will be a big passer. I think he's more of a 280 kind of, like 200 yards in the air, 100 on the floor kind of guy.
He could be.
Wait and see. But it's not. It's a good. Every time you go a 3-prong, we've got to admire your courage.
I'm relying on some big time throws.
Some big time catches.
Yeah.
Competitive. Contested marks.
Contested. Terry.
Scary too.
But the other part to Washington too, Dos, was remember I've made a deal with Dan Raybold that if Washington, when they finally get a winning record, I'm no longer allowed to say Dan Snyder's name on the podcast.
That's right.
So if that happens, that's done. Hawley, your second one of 3 was George Pickens would be top 3 in receiving yards in the league. Not much room between him and Garrett Wilson and someone else.
There's Garrett George and whoever else the other.
Drake London.
And
Drake London.
Are they your top 3?
Lad McConkey. And my third was that Miami break the record for most rushing touchdowns in history.
Yep.
They would break the record.
That was ridiculous because the number was through the roof, wasn't it?
It was, I think they had like 25 last year. The record's 38.
Yeah.
So they got to go 39. I think I like the draft pick of Jalen Wright a bit too much, lads. The record they'll be breaking is set in 1924 by the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets.
And it was more of a run game.
Very
back
much
then.
a run game.
Yeah, rather than a throwing.
I think like the best quarterback in the league back then had like 6 throwing touchdowns and 18 interceptions or something. So not exactly Mahomes in. Your last one, Dos, was Green Bay to be the last undefeated team in the league, which I like.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
It's a good one. It's a good one. And Hawley, what did you say about Carolina?
I think I said that they're making playoffs. Didn't
Yes,
I? Yeah.
ridiculously you said that.
Hey.
That's we're gonna make a new segment that's just insane calls for that. I mean, it's just
It's not even gutsy. It's just stupid.
so we'll chalk that up as a lot. Hey,
Well, you're not gonna like my first gutsy call.
Oh no, he's doubling down on Carolina. Okay,
absolutely.
this is the month of September. Well, what music have we got here? We've got some powerful music.
Upbeat.
Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, this is the Gutsy Call song. Remember this?
Perfect.
Is it? I thought this was our... No, it wasn't. No, this is right.
This is Gutsy Calls.
I thought this was the whip around the league.
Hang on, let me just turn it up. Oh, that's tough, isn't it? Like it?
Yep.
All
it's
right,
good.
Hawley, you kick us off. We've got 2 for September. Now, these are just judged from now to the end of September.
Sure.
Yes.
Carolina fellas are starting 4-0 this year.
Oh, my gosh.
4-0.
They play. So listen to me. They play the Saints. We're not big on the Saints, are we?
No, we're not. That's true.
No. Then they play the Chargers at home.
Okay.
Chargers, not sure.
Yep.
Then they play
then.
then they play the Raiders away. We're not big on the Raiders.
Okay.
Then the one that they might stumble is Cincinnati. Luckily, that is being played in Carolina, so there's the home field advantage. So it could come down to they're 3-0 and they're playing Cincy to end up 4-0 at the start of the month. And Hawley's gutsy call is unbelievable.
I love these ones because we did it with Chicago last year and just one Chicago win got the whole pod up and about. And we couldn't believe it.
And
We're riding it all the way.
They need to beat the Saints, surely.
Yeah. Come on, Bryce. Okay.
Yep.
4-0 to start.
4-0.
Dos, what you got? September.
Yeah, September. So a 2-prong one.
Oh, 2-pronger.
So I've gone Jonathan Taylor to be leading the month of September in rush yards.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've gone Michael Pittman Jr. to be top 3 in receiving yards.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Wow. The Colts. Double banger. You are bullish on the Colts.
A little bit.
All right. I like that. I like that a lot.
You're big on A. Richardson?
Yeah, I want to see more from
Need to see more from him.
Anthony Richardson. I've got good hopes for him.
Yeah.
I hope he goes really well, but I just want to see more. I haven't seen a big enough sample size yet.
All right. I've gone gutsy. I've also gone analytical with this one.
Okay.
The Arizona Cardinals to be leading the NFC West at the end of September.
Okay.
Cardinals.
What's their draw like?
I've got
You've obviously
them
had a look.
beating the Bills in Buffalo.
That's week 1.
That's
Wow.
week 1.
Wow.
And then they've got 3 home games. Against the Rams, I've got a win. Against the Lions, I've got a loss. And against the Commanders, I've got a win. Now, there's a few leaps there, but I've got 3-1.
They're 3-1.
San Fran, I also have going 3-1, but I have them losing to the Rams in there. So on the tiebreaker
You
of
got
divisional win
San
percentage
Fran losing to the Rams.
in LA, yeah.
Well,
So, there was a lot
it's
of
gutsy,
gymnastics to get there,
That's
but
gutsy.
I have Arizona and San Fran
Based
on
off the
3-1.
tiebreaker.
The divisional percentage, I have Arizona sitting atop the NFC West at the end of September. That's what I'm rolling with.
Don't
Because
mind it.
sometimes, we've been saying, I think Arizona will be much improved. Well, put your money where your mouth is, Kurt, and make a gutsy call about it. Hawley, what's your second one?
Year 2 Blues, fellas. CJ Stroud
Oh, no.
starts the year. Stroud starts the year with 7 picks in 4 weeks.
Oh, he had 5 for the whole year last
Yeah, well,
year.
this is why it's gutsy.
Oh, my gosh.
And Houston start the year 1-3.
Oh,
And
You're throwing a lot of shade on Houston.
So that's a
You're
double
right
pronger.
off
That's
of
a
it.
it's a double pronger.
Wow.
Yep, I've gone real hard on him here.
Oh, Dos. what
He's
do you
ripped Houston apart all off season.
got? He has. But hey, he's a man of his word. His courage of his convictions. What have you got, Dos?
He's all in on the Jags. I'm going for
Trevor, baby.
Trevor. Dallas Turner, who Hawley's picked for
Yeah.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, to be leading rookie sacks by the end of the month.
Leading rookie sacks.
Not really gutsy.
I don't
He
think
was-
that's gutsy
He
enough.
was
He's
like
a
pick
very
17.
Was
It was the second defensive
highest
player.
edge, man.
I think it was the second defensive player.
I think
taken.
if it's gutsy cool, it's going to be leading sacks.
That's like saying Malik Neighbours will have most rookie yards after the first month.
That's exactly like.
Like you almost expect it.
Yeah.
Would you though?
Yeah.
With
I don't
The
think that's
others
gutsy
around?
enough, Dos.
We need Gutsy or Dos. Like put a okay. He can lead him, but we want a number.
Yeah, I like that.
all right.
4 weeks.
Now he's worried.
No, I'm gonna go with 4. 1 a game.
Make it 5 and I'll pay it.
Yep.
Ah,
He's got to have a multiple game in there and a second.
It is pretty. If he continued 1 a game for the year, that's
just
17.
relying on Brian Flores to just blitz, and they're just sending.
Hey, you brought him up.
I'm just sending Dallas Turner.
You brought him up.
Quarterback.
Anything
Yeah.
named Dallas gives you problems, doesn't it, Dos?
Yeah.
Even when you try and back it in.
Nah. Well, I thought this one would be alright.
Maybe we need to
I
do-
want to get one.
Doss's
Let's
Dallas
all right, we'll
Barnes.
meet you halfway. 4.5 sacks.
All right.
All right, nice.
I'm happy with that as well, boys.
My last one now. I think this belongs in the insanity category as well. But bear with me while I explain this.
Okay. This is going to be interesting, isn't it? If we have to actually pay attention.
Yeah, please.
Overall PFF grade. Under a row.
Okay. The trio of rookie quarterbacks in Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Bo Nix will have more net total touchdowns. So I calculate that as pass touchdowns plus rush touchdowns minus interceptions, right? So overall touchdowns minus interceptions.
You really were bored today, weren't you?
Williams, Daniels, that's a full-time job. Williams, Daniels, and Nix will have more net total touchdowns than the trio of Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, and Joe Burrow in September.
Oh, that's gutsy.
Do you like it, Holly?
I like it. I'm just processing it.
So basically, thrown touchdowns,
The
running
rookies
touchdowns, take away the interceptions, right?
Yep.
So I look at Caleb and go, I reckon he starts well. I like him a bit more than you guys do. Jaden Daniels, I think he's good with his legs. Well, he is. I think he'll score a few on the ground.
Yep.
Bo Nix, he won't be a scoring powerhouse, but from what we've seen, he doesn't turn the ball over a heap. So let's hope there's no interceptions. Then you got Allen, turnover king last year. Prescott, Dos hates him. And Joe,
I don't hate Dak.
I know,
You just
I-
got him for most interceptions
I do,
in
I do.
your futures.
And then Joe Burrow, I think he'll start slow. So look, it's gutsy, but you know, what do you got?
That's what
What do you got, Dos?
the segment's called.
It'd be cool
Gutsy
to
Calls.
track and measure that one.
Yeah.
That's probably the one I'm most interested in now.
Thanks, mate.
Apart from the Carolina one, obviously.
Yeah. I tell you what, if they beat the Saints week 1,
Oh, we
could
are
you
gonna be
imagine
up
Saints
and
fans
about, mate.
wanting Derek Carr out of the city? Like Carolina.
Wait, is that in New Orleans?
Dennis Allen? Yeah, it is.
Oh my god!
I think it is, isn't it? Is it in New Orleans?
That one, I think that's away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Away for who?
For Carolina.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's in New Orleans. They'll be calling for Dennis Allen after week 1 if
Mate.
the Panthers win that.
They'll jump aboard the DOS train, get rid of Allen. All right, that's Gutsy Calls, boys. Man, I love that seg. We'll be back in a sec with all our game previews. I hate it when I've mispronounced a word just as I hit the button because I can't reverse it. You didn't pick up on it?
I didn't pick up on it.
Sweet. Shouldn't have mentioned it.
Flawless, Curtis.
Thanks, mate. The game review whip round. Let's just have a whip round, Dos. We'll all have a whip round when
Have a
she gets
whip
here.
round. In between.
In-betweeners fans will be loving that ref. Okay, let's quickly go through all the remaining games. So there's 13 to go. Let's keep it as snappy
quick.
as we can. But
Looking at you, Dos.
look, it's week 1, so we're a bit excited. So forgive us if we go a little over time because week 1 only happens once a year, Dos. What do you got for us? Why don't you start
Well,
with
You're giving me TNF.
TNF?
so we might as well start there.
You got to go TNF. Come on, mate. Let's go for it.
Well, we get a rematch of the AFC Championship, and we saw how close Baltimore were. Zay Flowers fumble, a few mistakes by the Ravens,
Yeah.
Lamar interceptions, and the Chiefs capitalise, and obviously the rest is history from there. So we get to see a good rematch of that. Looking forward to it. I think the Ravens can win this, actually. I'm going to go with the Ravens. Chiefs were a little sluggish. Remember, Lions went there and won week 1 last year
Yes.
on Thursday Night Football.
Remember very well. Kadarius.
I think
Who's no longer on the
Kadarius-
roster, by
No,
the way.
Yeah,
See
I'm
you,
sure
Tones.
you'll be.
Oh, brick hands.
I'm sure you'll be disappointed with that. So I'm going to go the Ravens to win that by 3.
Okay. Like that, Dos. Do you remember when Kadarius Toney was a hot commodity in fantasy? Holly? Well, it was extraordinary. You go with Falcons Steelers, Holly.
Falcons Steelers. I've already done them, Curtis.
Oh, you have, of course. Well, why don't you go with Chargers Raiders?
Cool. This will be a quick one because this is one I wrote that I'm probably not going to tune in for, but then
Now
I
that's-
realised that it is my job, so I will watch this game.
Thanks, mate. And that's at LA, isn't it? That's
It's at LA. Neither teams really excite us that much. I don't think it'll be interesting to see how or who Herbert targets, basically.
Lad.
How
Has
that
to be Lad.
how that works out, and if Lad does work, and then I am interested to see how the Raiders go this year. I'm a little bullish on it. They might be okay, but yeah, I'm not. It's not one that I'm going to really focus on watching too
I
much.
shouldn't have started there.
Yeah,
Such an
sorry.
odd. There'll be more Raiders fans.
I must
there
say,
than
you
Chargers.
will be watching it because the Stubby Club MVP award, Stubby Club
Correct.
Outback QB MVP, which they're generously sponsoring for us, 20% discount. Outback QB is the code. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're doing votes for every game this year. Not that system where we got sort of not stuffed it up, but it was controversial last year. We had 10 overall best players of the week. Every game that we're individually assigned, we're doing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So more players involved, more accurate system, and so you'll of course be assigning the votes for that game.
Oh, and I will be watching it. I just won't be as excited about watching it.
Okay,
As
and that's
other
your
games.
only early window game too, I think, at 2:30. So
It's a late window game.
is it?
Yeah.
Did I not give him a single early window?
The Pittsburgh game, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, the
okay.
first
Atlanta.
one you give him. Yep.
Oh, gee,
But there'll be a lot
I got to
more,
sort out my table over here. This is a mess.
All the LA Raiders fans will be flocking. It'll be a sea of black in SoFi.
Oh,
There won't be too many Chargers fans there.
all right. I've got Saints at Panthers. Now that's an early window game. It had Chris Hall written all over it, but I didn't want to give him another 2:30 game. Last time they played, the Saints smashed the Panthers. That was late last year, 28-6. Bryce Young had a shocker through 13 of 34. No protection, nothing, just ugly stuff. So all I want to see out of the Panthers, week 1, like you say, take it to the Saints. Take it to them. Bite some kneecaps, Dan Campbell style, Doss. You know, show some swagger. I want Bryce with some confidence. I want to see something cohesive. If it's not a win, then just give us some hope. Give the Panthers fans some hope because we can't have a repeat of last year. As for the Saints, maybe this is too harsh. We bring it up all the time, but along with the Titans, I think the most boring team in the NFL at the moment. So why don't they show us something? Why don't they show us something new, something different, something fresh for the Saints to get fans excited about? Because on paper, this game could be anything, Doss. It could be a 40-point Saints win, and it could be a low-scoring slogfest that Carolina are scrappy and could pull off. So I am excited to watch it in that it's just an intriguing matchup of two teams that I don't know what 2024 holds, but wait and see. That's the best thing about week 1. There's hope for everyone. Doss, Bengals and Pats.
Yeah. And
In
this is
Cincinnati.
This is in Cincinnati, and I'm expecting Cincinnati to drop about 35
I thought he was going to say
Patriots.
expect them to drop the game.
No, I think Cincinnati going to start hot. I need them to start hot.
Yes.
With Joe Burrow
Oh, yes.
MVP form. And Hawley does as well for a couple of his Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. So I think Cincinnati are going to win this. They should win this pretty comfortably. Week 1 always throws up surprises, but boy, if they drop this, game, that would be a very bad loss at home.
One thing I do want to see from the Pats, their new receivers, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker. Let's just see a flash or two from
Mario Douglas.
Yeah,
There's
Douglas.
a couple guys there that we're not sure about yet.
But Polk, they spent a high-ish pick on. You know, I just...
We want to see something from them.
Yeah, because they're guys... I mean, even that track record has continued the last few years. They still haven't nailed one, have they?
The problem is whether or not Jacoby can get it out of him.
Yeah. I can't imagine Jacoby's as bad as he was in preseason.
Yeah.
We've seen him play at the level, and he's fine, right? He's fine. He's not as
hope
disastrous
not.
as he was.
Be a long year otherwise.
I think it's going to be a long year.
Either
for
way,
you.
isn't it? Yeah, you're not wrong.
I'll go with Giants-Vikings just to catch up because I've got the extra game. So what do we have here, boys? We've got Sam Darnold versus Daniel Jones. And it sounds silly, but I think both these teams desperately need a win here. I think they need to start their season well. The Giants, for obvious reasons, we've been so down on them. They've had, some pretty bad stuff over the last 12 months, particularly at the quarterback position. I want to see Daniel Jones get a bit of form and confidence back. We know he can play. It's just that he hasn't shown it for a long time now.
Well, there's no one really sitting behind him putting pressure on. I don't think Tommy DeVito is really the guy that they're going to invest their future in. They haven't drafted anyone that is, they're thinking, oh, well, if Daniel doesn't work out, we'll try this bloke. I think it's Daniel. If he's fit, he probably plays all year no matter how poorly he plays.
Well, it's two guys playing for their career big time
Yeah.
in Daniel Jones, but then Sam Darnold, right? And I'm so intrigued by this because I, and a small portion of people who have an interest in Sam Darnold's career and think he's not as bad as he's shown, have just wanted him to have a proper chance. We were excited at San Fran last year. He didn't get to play other than a nothing game in week 18. So Darnold, he's starting. His competition's out for the year, right? They had a horror offseason, but there's a glimmer of hope for Darnold now. And Sam, you've got Justin Jefferson and you've got Aaron Jones, and you're in a competent building with decent general management and a good head coach. This is it.
It was not just Jefferson either.
This is it.
You got TJ Hawkinson.
Well, he's on IR.
Yeah, still out
Once
for a
he's
while.
back, yeah.
Yeah, but Jordan Addison as well.
Jordan Addison looked real good when he was the number one guy last year. Like they've got some tools there.
Until Roger decides to suspend him for the DUI incident.
Well,
yeah,
we'll
of
wait and
course.
see. But the difference, not only the personnel around Darnold, but the fact that he's not on the verge of being dropped next week.
Yeah.
Because his whole career since the Jets debacle, he's been, if he's no good this week, someone else take a spot, whether it's Baker Mayfield, whether it's whoever behind him.
They got rid of his biggest competition, Jaron Hall.
Jaron Hall, I know,
Can't
the one
believe it.
guy. Yeah, I think
believe it.
Sam had a bit to do with that.
So important
Come on,
for the
Sammy.
Vikings, just before we move on to the next one. So they've got the Giants, as you mentioned, important to win. Their next run of games, next 7, home to San Francisco, home Houston, at Green Bay, home Jets, home Detroit, at Rams. It is a brutal stretch of games.
was
That's the
7?
Vikings.
That's for the Vikings.
Oh my gosh.
So if they don't win that,
If they don't
could
win that,
be-
they'll go 0-7.
yeah,
Ugh.
yeah.
Come on, Sammy.
And then Colts,
No pressure.
and then Colts, and
Steelers.
then away to Jacksonville, and then you've got
gosh.
Tennessee, Bears, Cardinals, and a bit later on. But that's getting well down into the season. So this is, I would say, more of a must-win for Minnesota.
I don't think it matters.
Well,
They're either 1-6 or 0-7.
I think you're probably right.
Hall, are you a Seahawks Broncos
I do.
in Seattle?
Yeah, I do. And I think this is a pretty important year for Geno. He got paid well enough. They've shown that they're backing him in, and now this is the year that he really needs to repay them. He has the tools, a really good group of receivers, and he has a couple of handy running backs as well. If he doesn't play well this year, then I think that Geno could slowly be pushed out, especially if they have a poor enough year where they end up with, a top 10 or top 12 pick.
I agree.
And I think,
Sammy, how?
Well, Sammy Hull, he showed enough at Washington last year. Like, he did fall off a little bit, and then
Led
just
the league in passing yards.
yeah,
didn't
and then he just see you later.
Did.
led the league in passing yards
And interceptions.
and sacks taken.
A Winston type of season. So they have got someone there that if Geno's not playing well enough, that he can step in. But yeah, this is the year where Geno needs to get the Seahawks back into the playoffs and even win a game or two. Yeah. On the other side, Denver, well, I think this is just all about Bo Nix at the moment. Sean's got his QB of the future. We hope he has. And now we get to see what he's got for us. I mean, Doss's boy Cortland Sutton looks like he'll probably be Geno Bo's number one guy this year.
Red zone target.
Red zone
Just
target.
book him in for over 10 touchdowns.
Possibly offensive player of the year. We'll talk about that another time. But apart from that, I'm not overly... I mean, Jamal Williams as a running back. Otherwise... Javonte Williams. He's probably the other guy that we're kind of excited to see because he's come that second year off a knee now. But otherwise...
The year after.
The year after. Otherwise, I'm not totally excited about Denver's offense.
There's something about the Broncos that intrigue me. I think Nix has shown a little bit, but even before that, I just want to see what they do with these little bit part players.
Quag's big on him. He thinks that last year they did have a lot of injuries to some key offensive and defensive linemen.
He's also a diehard.
But he knows
Denver
what he's
fan.
talking
He does.
about. And he has brought up a couple of good points where like they were missing key guys, that you don't really know about. And weren't, wide receivers or running backs. They were more those guys in the trenches that will help you control games. So Broncos, if Bo Nix can control a game and limit his turnovers, then they're a chance to have a decent season.
Justin Simmons out at safety, who was their leader, is a big loss. And the interesting part with the Broncos, they still went 8-9 last year with Russell Wilson playing pretty ordinary.
As
the
eighth best quarterback in the league according to his passer rating.
They had the 19th rated offense last year by efficiency.
Their defense was
Denver.
pretty good still, wasn't it?
The defense
that held
kept them in
instead.
games, yeah. And that's so if Bo Nix can be, say, just a bit better than Russell was last year, and it gets them, say the 13th or 14th, 15th best offense in terms of efficiency, that 8-9 can potentially become 9-8. 10.
Well,
then
We've already done gutsy
but then-
calls, Doss.
But then you're
We've done gutsy calls.
but then you're on the fringe of wild card.
Yeah.
But you just can't see a Sean Payton team going like four wins.
No.
Is more what I'm getting at.
Great. It's just a funny way to illustrate it.
Yeah, I know. It's sort of like, well, a winning record looks
that would
better.
be a gutsy call as well.
A winning record of 9-8 looks so much better than 8-9.
Yeah, no,
I suppose you're right.
I take it for it. It's a big difference in the NFL, that pivot game.
Hey, just talk to Mike Tomlin, mate. He'd take 9-8 over 8-9.
Yeah.
Keep the record
he'll
rolling.
He'll take 9-8 over a Super Bowl. Cardinals, Bills.
Gutsy Calls are over,
Cardinals
mate.
at Bills. We'll get you involved in a second, Dos. From my calculations, you've got only 2 games left. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So I'm just catching up with all my extra games.
Your one extra game that you.
Yeah, but I started at the wrong spot. I shouldn't have started with Dos. I should have started with me. That
yourself.
would have been an
Yeah.
even snake. Anyway, you guys know now that we've done Gutsy Calls that I think the Cardinals will beat the Bills, and I've said it a million times, I think the Bills will miss playoffs. But what are we looking forward to in this game? Well, I want to see how this new offense of the Bills holds together, what they do, how Keon Coleman looks, how the bit part players, Curtis Samuel if he plays, Mac Hollins, guys like that. Do they contribute something? What does that system look like? That's the Bills. But I'm more excited to see the Cardinals play. Obviously, we've got a wide receiver we can't wait to watch. Greg Dortch will be playing for the Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Hopefully sends another quote our way.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm lacking inspiration, Greggy. Pass something my way.
Dortch.
But yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray, who quietly put together a decent season last year. He's shedding those injury worries of the ACL, and again, it's the year after. So is Kyler quietly becoming, or will he quietly become, a very, very good quarterback in this league now? And now that he's got a weapon in Harrison and a very good tight end in Trey McBride, who we all like, and a competent coach in Jonathan Gannon, okay, I can see this coming together. So Cardinals, don't flop. Don't let us down here, because there's a real chance to cause a stir in the league if they beat the Bills. Dos.
Arizona O-line, Dos, you'd know a bit more about it than.
Not one of the best O-lines.
Oh, Froholt does it right.
Yeah, it's not great. Their defense worries me, though, Kurt, Arizona. I still think it's got too many holes on it, and we've spoken about that.
I do agree with you. That is certainly the point of weakness. But, I think it's slowly coming together. Maybe not as rapidly as Cardinals fans would like, but I think they're a real chance. Just give us a spunky performance. Show us something. All right, Dos, you're back in the game. You're off the bench. Colts and Texans in Indy.
Oh, yeah, I got a divisional matchup.
Oh, this is you all over.
Now, the Colts, last 10 opening games, 0-9-1.
0-9-1.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Last 10 years in week 1 games.
It's not a great record, is it?
No.
It would be better than that, though. 1-9.
1-9. Flip it. Stat wouldn't be quite as good, though. So we get to see Anthony Richardson up against CJ Stroud, which
That's awesome.
we got to see that last year, actually. And the Colts beat them in Houston week 2 last season. And then the Texans got them in that win and in game in week 18. But yeah, obviously everyone's keen to see CJ Stroud, but also the trio of Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell. And well, the Colts got a lot of nice weapons too, which we've spoken about. Jonathan Taylor, and I'm bullish on Michael Pittman Jr. and a couple of other receivers. So I think this is going to be a pretty high scoring game. The Colts put a lot of points on. They concede a lot of points, but they also score a lot. And Houston, we know how dynamic they are on offense. So I'm going to go with the Texans to win this game.
Nice.
I love that New Year and Dos is still giving the tips we never asked for.
Well, you did early. We started off doing a couple, and
Did
then
we?
we didn't. And then
No.
you stopped.
I like it.
Well, you asked Hawley, Falcons Steelers, who was going to win.
Did I?
No, I don't think he did.
No.
Because I haven't given an answer because I'm not sure.
What would you say?
I would say I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, very good. Commanders.
It would be a tie.
Commanders.
You
at
got
Bucks.
a week 1 tie.
Oh, it's happened to the Colts apparently. Commanders at Bucks.
Yes. The more I see Jaden Daniels, the more I like the guy. I'm genuinely excited to watch him play this year now, fellas. We spoke about his size and the risk of impact injuries, but if he's smart about how he runs with the ball and he can avoid some big sacks, then we might be in for something special with this kid in his rookie year. The Bucks, Baker needs to deliver. He needs to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. A bit like the Seahawks and Geno, the Bucks have backed Baker in, and now he needs to go out there and show us all that it's Baker's world and we're all just living in it.
I like it. 2 good years in a row from Baker. Is it too much to ask?
Well, it shouldn't be.
Nah, he's
I think he's a pretty competent.
History says it
Quarterback.
likely won't happen, but
He's got a better
You'd like
team
to
this
hope.
year than where he's ever played before, though.
yeah.
All right, Dos.
Yep.
It's time for Dolphins talk, which is what you love. Jags at Dolphins. Now, they were 11-4 before conceding 56 points to the Ravens late in the year last year. Then they lost at home to the Bills, and they barely offered a whimper against the Chiefs in the wild card round. Under Mike McDaniel, they've shown improvement, 9-8 and 11-6. But are they one-trick ponies? Is it just speed, or have they got some substance to match their style? That's what I want to know. And the Jags, they're a tricky challenge themselves, but they have their own mental baggage to overcome. They didn't deliver last year on the momentum that was promised with Doug Pedersen in the first year. And I tell you what, you talked a brutal schedule for Minnesota before. That may be the worst, but listen to this. They're at Miami to start, the Jags. It's no easy feat. Then they're playing Cleveland. Then they're at Buffalo. Then they're at Houston. Then they're playing the Colts. Then they're at the Bears. Now, there are some good teams and some potentially spunky teams in there.
Bit of travelling in the first 6 weeks there.
That's not easy. That's not easy at all. That's 4 away games and against good opponents. So the Jags need this early. I think they need it early. I think the Dolphins will win it, though.
Good call.
There's a tip for you.
There you go.
Dos, you are going to finish off your allocation with, I like this one. What a game. The Cowboys at the Browns, late window.
It is, and I apologise. I think I said the game was in Houston. It's actually in Indy for the...
the other one. That's fine.
for the other game.
Oh, we forgive you, mate.
And you know what? We wouldn't have noticed, even if you didn't tell us.
Nah.
Cowboys at Browns.
The Tom Brady regular season debut commentary
Here we go.
game. So Hawley's going to be
yeah.
up and about for this. We get to see... You can just imagine that if Deshaun Watson isn't playing well... You think Brady's just going to rip him apart with what he's doing wrong on the field?
Probably not.
I don't know.
You don't reckon? I think he will.
You reckon he'll go hard early, really stamp his claim?
Well, I maybe not personally, but I think he just maybe might suggest some improvements that could be made with Deshaun, depending on how he's playing. If he's not playing well, we'll get to see that. CeeDee Lamb finally paid. We got our wish. Jerry's made the decision. Opened the checkbook up. Nice 136 million, was it, Kurt?
Yeah,
you reported. And this is a tricky game for Dallas. Cleveland, we know how good their defense plays at home. They were very good last year compared to on the road. And they're going to come, Myles Garrett, those boys are going to come for Dak Prescott. Hostile environment. It'll be a interesting game, this one. I'm going to roll with Cleveland to win this, actually.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Top close.
I think it's going to be quality.
Amari Cooper against, first coming up against Dallas as well.
I'm just trying to think, Dos. Dallas and Cleveland. Now, I might be completely wrong here, but this strikes me as a game that doesn't happen that often.
No, every 4 years because they're in opposite conferences.
Oh, it's every 4 years. Okay, right. Because I was just thinking, I can't recall those guys playing together. It's just a matchup that in my mind I've never put together. Cleveland and Dallas, you don't see those uniforms together. So it just struck me as an odd one. And you're right, of course, every 4 years. No. And the last one, of course, was in 2020, so that was COVID. Yeah. So it was a game we'll all forget anyway.
And that was 4 years ago.
Actually, we shouldn't have forgotten. That was 49-38 Cleveland win. And it was 4 years ago, It's like the Olympics, Chris. Did you know that comes around every 4 years?
You're kidding.
Anyway.
So keen to see, but my concern for Dallas is that it's just CeeDee Lamb. Or Dak and CD on offense. The defense, this really going to be a good battle of the defenses. We've spoken about how much we love Micah Parsons and the defense there in Dallas, and the pieces they have. Deron Bland being out is going to be injury, and Trayvon Diggs. Is he playing this week, Curtis? Trayvon Diggs, is he back from his ACL injury? So
never ask me a question without notice, Dos. That's dangerous.
Sorry. So
Kurt will edit that out.
You chop it out.
It's good for the network.
I'm going to roll with the Browns to win this one at home.
All right, 2 to go. SNF, Hawley. Rams at Lions. Now, this is a good one.
It's a huge game for Detroit. Dan Campbell is under pressure going into the season. They are expecting wins, and they're expecting a lot of them. They're expecting playoffs, and they're expecting to go deep in the playoffs, which means you don't drop early games, Dos. The LA Rams, however, I'm not sure...
You can.
You can't, mate. I'm not sure what to expect here. They seem to keep surprising us with random offensive weapons, so it's tough to bet against them this early in the year when we haven't really seen much of them. They had a pretty good year last year in the end and found some guys that were quite impressive, and now they're coming up against a vulnerable Detroit Lions outfit, so they're...
Why are they vulnerable?
Vulnerable?
You know you'd sneak that in and us not listen.
Most people's favourites.
I think this will be a better game. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the odds. I don't know who's favourite. I imagine Detroit are favourites by a touchdown or so, but I think this game could surprise us a little.
All right, I like that. Hopefully it's an attack fest. That's what I sense.
Yeah, I think with the
glamour team.
If Stafford's rolling well, and if Kupp does play well, and there could be some points on the board.
It will be. I think this game was the highest line, Hawley, 51.5 points or something total. So...
See what happens.
Expecting a good one.
All right, last game is mine, and that's the Titans at the Bears. I had some notes prepared on this, but all I'm going to say is Chicago, let's just deliver. Time to deliver. You've got Caleb now. It's happened.
Give us
He's
something,
there.
fellas.
Because this Titans team shouldn't scare anyone. It should not scare anyone. Levis into Pollard into Ridley. That's all they've got. Get it done. Get it done, Chicago. All right. That is the week 1 preview. Now, this weekend, Dos, on the Outback QB Daily, if people were listening haven't followed yet, just type in the Daily. Or if you're on Apple, just click the Musclecat Media link and it'll take you to our network page and you'll see the Daily there. Make sure you follow, subscribe to that because Saturday we will have the review, Dos, you and me, of the Kansas City and Baltimore game, plus the first ever MVP votes under the new system, which you'll be giving out. Then on Sunday, I will be giving a bit of a recap of the Brazil game, Carnival, Packers and Eagles. Of course, you're doing the votes for that, Dos, so I won't step into that territory, but I'll just do a little bit of a recap of my own once I get back in the States.
I thought I was getting called up 2 days in a row.
No, I won't do that to you. Not on the weekend, mate.
When I saw that, I saw it on your.
No, I
run
only
sheet
gave
or
it to
something.
you
I was like,
because
"Ooh, okay."
I wanted you to have the Packers, a season opener. That was a little favour for you, but you don't have to jump on. I'll do that myself. But point being, Saturday, Sunday, you've got 2 game reviews pretty quickly uploaded, so you can hear all about those games on the Outback QB Daily. The Raz is tonight. 25 spots only. 25 spots only. $25 to enter, and you could win a Superstars signed authentic jersey that's worth quite a lot of cash. What else have we got? Next Tuesday is our first full review show of the year. We go through every game and love that. Love that stuff. Whip through them. The good, the bad, and the very, very ugly, which is inevitable, even in week 1, boys. And that's about it, isn't it?
Cool.
There's one more thing.
Joke of the week.
Joke of the week.
All right, boys.
You got music?
Come on.
One job, Kurt.
Actually, about 1,000 jobs.
Yeah, you're right.
Dos, Curtis.
Yes.
Why did the Sun skip going to college? Already had about 1 million degrees.
Yes.
I never know if you guys are going to like them or not. I like all of them.
That's the jeopardy of the segment.
Yeah.
It's a real cliffhanger, isn't
I'm
it?
glad you enjoyed it.
Love that one. It's up there with Fun Guys.
Sometimes
Fun guys.
Sometimes I look back and go, did I give away a laugh too easily there? I'm a bit ashamed. But no, that was all right. All right, boys. That's the week 1 preview in the books.
You know what I might do one day?
What's that, mate?
Yeah, give it a year or so and I'll release a book. Paulie's Joke of the Week.
Oh.
With all the jokes of the week.
You know, it's not that easy to announce that you're writing a book.
You could put
People
that
tend
as
to
the,
criticise.
You could put that as the forward for his dynasty book.
We'll sell them both and see which one goes well.
You know Kevin Sheedy released a joke book in about 2001?
Did he?
Yep. Give him a buzz, see what his sales are like. I don't reckon they'd be that
He doesn't have the reach that we have, though.
No, true. All right, boys. Thank you, Dos. Thank you, Hulu. We'll see
you
you
later.
next week, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Bye, guys.
And enjoy week 1.